Part 1. Target Audience. Who you target. This part of the book is all about the who of your go-to-market strategy, how to select your audience, what to look for in a good target audience, and how to link your audience to your overarching go-to-market goals. This chapter will cover how to set the business goal that your target audience is going to help you achieve, the role that supply and demand plays in target audience definition, common B2B and B2C segmentation tactics and strategies, how to size your market, and product or market fit. Before you select an audience, set a clear numeric goal. The big mistake managers make with going to market is jumping straight into the strategy without quantifying their desired outcome. The entire point of a strategy is that it's a means of achieving an objective. Without an objective, your go-to-market strategy is aimless. Starting with a strategy is a recipe for disaster. When I worked at Sony, I had identified the perfect target customer for a new product. It was a match made in heaven. The needs of the customer aligned perfectly with what the product delivered. The strategy was perfect, but there was just one huge problem. The customer segment was just too darn small. Even if I sold the product to every single member of that segment, it would barely have made a financial dent. You must have a goal, such as a clear financial objective, before you have a strategy. In my case, my goal required an imperfect strategy. That is, pursuing an imperfect target customer, because the goal was more important. Here are some examples of clear, quantified goals that will help dictate your strategy. Generate $15 million in 1 year, sell 100,000 units in 6 months, break even on development costs in 2 years, achieve 50% market share, grow brand awareness among segment B by 90%, grow purchase intent by 3% among segment A, grow net promoter score by 30% among current customers in segment B, generate $1 million in pipeline monthly recurring revenue, or MRR, generate 200 qualified sales leads per month. Example: one of the most effective ways of generating new leads is to be a guest speaker for an influential organization. I was reaching out to key organizations to schedule my CEO as a webinar speaker. This kind of marketing is very effective in building your company as an influential thought leader. The problem is that leads generated in this way can require a lot of nurturing before they are ready to buy. In the long term, such an approach makes sense. If your goal, however, is to generate X number of qualified leads this quarter, you shouldn't be wasting your time on high-level, long-term content marketing. Your company could be burning through cash so quickly that it simply cannot afford to invest in long-term tactics. Instead, the smarter course of action is to focus on existing leads and get them to the point where they are ready to speak to sales reps. That requires building content that is a bit more product-centric and that covers very specific pain points rather than high-level aspirations. Nothing will help you focus more than writing a clear numeric goal. You won't waste time on inconsequential tactics. You won't choose a target segment that is too small or too large. You will make smarter decisions on how to allocate your marketing budget. You'll be able to hone in on the partners who will matter most. And you'll know what marketing budget to request. There's a reason you created this product, so it shouldn't be that hard to write down an objective. If you're working at a tiny company, your goal might be to retire off the proceeds from this product. In that case, just put down $3 million profit as the objective. That way you don't waste your time dealing with tiny markets and tiny marketing tactics. If you work for a large company, your goal might be to generate $100 million in revenue or to acquire 1 million users without any clear financial target. Just ask yourself one question: how will I know this product was a success or not? Remember, if you're not the founder or CEO of the organization, make sure whatever goal you set aligns to the goal of the business. In larger organizations, the goal of the new product will be in part defined by the organization's needs. The number one way to do this is to ask what metrics are discussed in board meetings. What needles are the board of directors looking at, and how will your product help move them? That's the best thing you can do to guarantee business alignment. Pick your target customer. I've worked with lots of companies that invested heavily in products only to see them fail miserably when they went to market. When it fails, people start playing the blame game. Our PR agent wasn't very good. We didn't have the same features as our competitor. Google Ads was a wasted investment. Onboarding was too slow and error-prone. Another product released at the same time. The list is endless. But in reality, these are symptoms of a failed strategy rather than causes of the failed launch. Strategic mistakes cascade through everything, and usually a poor strategic decision results in tactics that don't work no matter what your budget. And the first strategic decision that usually gets made is choosing a target customer. If you choose the right customer, then you have a larger margin for error when it comes to executing your campaign. With that in mind, here's how you pick the right target customer. Estimate supply and demand. You need to select a target customer or market that has enough demand to achieve your desired outcome. This is a surprisingly common mistake, so let's break it down a little into the common traps we see. Scenario 1. No demand. First, you have a product where there truly is not enough demand to support the primary goal. For example, let's say you're launching a new pet insurance product specifically for retired racing greyhounds. Great! That's a super niche audience, which means you can probably create a value proposition and messaging that's hyper-relevant to your target customers. But let's say there are 2 million retired greyhounds out there and you need 4 million to achieve profitability. While your product might be great, there just isn't enough demand there to make the product work. If you're in this bucket, then you need to pivot to serve a larger target audience. Scenario 2. No demand yet. This is all too common in the world of technology. An entrepreneur identifies a problem and thinks, I can fix this. Currently, there's no market for their solution, but the potential market is huge and they're going to crack it wide open. This is called category creation, and if executed correctly, it can be extremely effective. Since you're all alone in the market, you tend to get first mover advantage and all the perks that come with that, including brand awareness, thought leadership, and zero competitors. However, category creation is extremely difficult. There are years of zero or no profit and revenue, and you are usually required to spend huge sums of money on demand creation. That is, educating people about the problem you've identified, creating a demand for your solution. Only then can you start the process of demand generation and start to see returns on your marketing spend. More importantly, category creation is a long-haul play. And if your product isn't sufficiently unique, you may find that your years of creating demand can be stolen by a newer, faster-moving competitor who swoops in once you've done the hard yards of category creation. Scenario 3. A lot of demand, but a lot more supply. Another big mistake would be selling something that is oversupplied. If you market something that doesn't provide much superior value over similar products on the market, then you're doomed to failure. This is why measuring supply is an important step in planning your go-to-market strategy. Example. One of the biggest mistakes new Amazon sellers make is choosing overly niche products that generate minuscule revenue. A smarter approach would be to look at what is already selling well, using data from a resource such as Jungle Scout, and improve upon deficiencies that appear in product reviews. Example. Publishers have the very difficult task of trying to estimate how well a new book, video game, movie, or similar product will perform in the market. This is particularly important because the bulk of the marketing budget is spent in one very narrow window of time. The way they overcome this challenge is by using comps, or comparable products, to see how well they perform historically. If you are selling a new product, look at how well similar products have done in the past to estimate demand. There are various ways to estimate demand and supply. Look at how well comparable products are selling using tools such as Jungle Scout or your own historical records. Use Google Keyword Planner to see how many people are searching for a solution to the problem you sell. Google Trends can help if you expect demand to grow or shrink. And some marketplaces, such as Udemy, will provide tools that give an estimate of both demand and supply.